It's time to add some stiffness to the Miata by installing these front subframe braces by Goodwin Racing. Now this kit does upgrade the stock subframe braces that come with the car, and then it also adds this crossmember section here. This is going to further improve the rigidity. Now the ND chassis is stiffer than previous Miata generations. However, once you start adding stiff suspension like coilovers, drive the car hard and hit some bumpy roads, you do notice a bit of flex in the chassis. So this is the first step that we are going to take to help reduce some of that chassis flex. So let's go ahead and get started with the installation process, and then I'll try my best to describe the before and after difference. So the first step is we want to remove that under tray that covers the oil pan. This one will be removed by 9 12mm bolts around the perimeter. Then you will need to remove the subframe braces themselves. Those use 4 17mm bolts on each side. I always love to do a side-by-side comparison between the OEM part and then the aftermarket part that we're putting on. You can see a big difference. This has sort of a C-channel design versus this one from Goodwin Racing is completely boxed in. It is a bit heavier, and also I tried to bend this one by hand, and I could actually feel it bending a little bit just with the force in my hands. This one, can't feel it bending at all. So I think we're gonna see a big difference in stiffness between the Goodwin brace and the factory one just with this alone, and then adding that beam there is going to improve the rigidity that much further. Now to install the Goodwin brace, it's going to go in exactly the way that we took the OEM brace out. So start with the 2 braces on the sides. We want to torque those down to somewhere between 73 and 87 foot-pounds. I'm gonna do 82 foot-pounds, kind of right in the middle for those big bolts. Goodwin does not provide a torque spec for the bolts on that cross member, so we're just going to get those hand tightened as best we can. Now to install this cross member here, we need to do this with the undershield tray outside of the car. Basically, it's going to line up these 2 threaded holes with these holes here in the under tray, and then the holes in the cross member are going to line up with the threaded bolt holes here for the under tray itself. So this piece actually slides into this little channel here. So we need to go ahead and slide it in. And I said do this outside the car because it is quite tough to get this in. In fact, you may need a hammer and you'll probably scrape a little bit of the material off the cross member, but that's okay. All right, now with that cross member in place, we can go ahead and take the 2 button head screws. I think these are button head. And we're gonna go ahead and thread these in by hand. And then using a 4mm Allen key, we'll go ahead and drive them home. There we go. Then we can go ahead and reinstall the splash shield like normal, and this installation will be complete. Super simple.
And that is how you install the Goodwin front subframe braces. So as you can see, these are even compatible with the Virus Engineering underbody panels. No fitment issues there. You might hear a little bit of noise if they rattle against the metal, but it shouldn't be too bad. You can even take some probably electrical tape or something to fix any rattles there. But that is how we install the subframe braces. Now it's time to take the car for a drive and see how it feels.
So I just took the car on the first drive after installing the Goodwin Racing subframe brace. I did not film it because I don't think you'd be able to tell a difference through the camera. The ride quality was pretty much exactly the same. However, I did feel like the initial turn-in response was a little bit sharper and more crisp, as well as I had a little bit more front-end grip and stability after installing these front subframe braces, which is exactly what they're designed to do. Goodwin says that installing these braces adds more torsional rigidity and also improves the flex that the subframe will have versus the chassis, and that flex can lead to camber and other suspension geometry changes during mid-corner, and I definitely noticed the difference while I was driving just on the initial loop that I did. So I'm super excited about this modification. I already do notice the difference, and I can't wait to take it on more fun roads and hopefully track days and see a difference there as well. I really hope you guys found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you did, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.